Hi, this is Dr. Sperling, and I am here with Dr. Nail Nipper, partner in crime. This is John over here, and John is everything that I can't do. He is the whole technical part of this crew, and I couldn't have Dr. Nail Nipper working without him. So everybody say, hi, John.
Thank you, Dr. Judy. I appreciate being on here. I always enjoy talking to everyone in the community, working with you on this project and continually making it better and being more responsive to those in the community that do want to see more. So,
Yeah, and we're each coming to you just like you've seen a bajillion times in the last month on Zoom because, everybody's in quarantine. And so I apologize for the lighting that makes me look purple. We'll have to work that out. But we wanted to take this opportunity, sort of it's because I'm running out of videos, quite frankly, because I'm just not seeing many patients. But also just because we have questions that people have been asking and thought that we would take this time to try and answer some of the questions. And we're planning on doing a live version kind of this next week. So stay tuned and keep watching, and hopefully we'll get that up and get that ready to go. And I won't look purple in that segment. But, with people being at home, there's not a lot that I can do when people have smaller issues. And so we wanted to talk about maybe some of the ways that you could help yourself at home during this time when doctors are really seeing only urgent patients. So
and likewise, as I have been talking to others across the country, people have been wondering what they should do about their health and especially their feet health, as our feet are the building blocks, and the more that we have been home, the more that we have probably taking walks, being more active throughout the day.
well, maybe you. Some of us are doing some power binge watching on TV.
Yeah, well, and yes, and putting your feet up and enjoying that, and probably looking at your feet and saying, what can I do to make my feet look pretty or
Well,
look
and
better?
the other thing I'm hearing over and over and over again when people do come in or they do call, when I'll ask them, so you're at home in quarantine, what do you have on your feet? And most of them, the answer is, what do you think?
Socks.
Yeah. And so, in my clinic right now, I'm seeing only 5 categories of patients. So I'm seeing people who are post-operative who need to get in for their follow-ups. I am seeing people with infections. I am seeing people with wounds that those need to be seen every 1 to 2 weeks, or they're going to get infected. People with trauma. If I had a woman in today who stubbed her toe and broke it, and couldn't walk and works at a grocery store, so she has to be on her feet. And then lastly, there are some people who have some pain issues that are just too much and they can't put weight on it. And so if it's a severe pain that's not allowing them to walk, then that also qualifies. And my usual schedule of like 20 to 25 patients a day, I'm down to between 4 to 6 people a day. So, I'm still seeing patients, and I see my role. Somebody asked in one of the comments today, am I working at the hospital to help with the COVID-19 patients? And where I live, what I told her, there really hasn't been a need. I haven't been called upon. But what I see my role as right now is to keep people out of the emergency room or the urgent care. So hopefully they're calling me if they break their toe or tear a tendon, something. So I'm hoping that I can keep these people out of the ER, or
Yes.
sorry, we call it the ED now, emergency department.
And so part of what has made this unique is my wife is also a podiatrist, and we've gone through the same type of process that Judy has talked about. And because we are in Michigan, we've been more of a hot spot. But it has been a different feel for patients coming in to have regular care. And Judy could probably talk a little more to this, but as I've been talking to some of our vendors, some of our partners who we sell their products, that they have talked about the fact that there will be this great demand
Sorry,
when
my dog.
there will be this great demand when all of this ends, and there will be a lot of people coming back into the office to have routine care. And if you think about the fact that we've missed, between 4 and 7 weeks of time in our workplaces and the doctor's offices, that's a month or two out of this year.
So I'm hoping that I get to see some really grody nails when people come back in May. So, and I've got a furloughed college student who has agreed to come in and do a lot of filming for a few days. So, yes, we have a couple days that are nothing but toenails and corns and calluses. And, but I've still had a couple people who have kept their appointments during this time because their feet are just so painful to walk on that they have to get those calluses trimmed, and everybody's wearing masks, and we're just doing the best that we can. So, but getting back to everybody just wearing socks in the house. So, when people are wearing nothing that gives them support, that can cause all kinds of problems. We're also doing some telehealth type stuff, and we're getting people who are calling with arch pain and heel pain and ankle pain and knee pain. And the first thing I'll ask them is, what are you wearing around the house? And their answer is usually socks. So I will tell them immediately, first thing, to get themselves into some good athletic shoes. But if that's not enough, then the next step would be to put like an arch support in it and wear that around the house. And so, John, you have a sample, don't you? I forgot to bring them home with me. So these are the ones that are up on our website that people can get, and they go by shoe size, and they have men's and women's. But putting a little extra arch support will usually take care of an awful lot of those problems that people are calling about or not coming in and just suffering with until we're back to normal. So these are made by I think I talked about this in one of my other videos, but these are made by my orthotic lab. And this is the first time that they've allowed anybody to sell them outside the clinic. But, strange times call for, I don't know, what's the saying?
Strange times call for strange measures. I don't know.
But, yeah, so these are just some extra arch supports if you get into your athletic shoes for all these issues and it doesn't help, then these would be the next step. So if you feel like you need something extra, just go ahead and, pick up a pair of these and see what they feel like.
And Judy, we've also made a slight change to our free shipping on the website. If you order anything over $30, which that would include the arch supports and some other things, as well as buying multiple pads, you get free shipping. So that change was just made earlier this week.
Yeah, and that's all John. He's our computer genius. So
can I ask another question?
Absolutely.
So actually, this was from an older video I was watching, and that's normally what I do is I binge watch Dr. Nail Nipper videos. But in one of the videos, you were talking about how you had a contract in working with NFL players. Is that correct? And can you talk a little more about what you did with them?
Yeah, it wasn't actually a contract. I am, I've been doing this for almost 30 years. And so you develop your network of other practitioners around you that, you work very well with. And so there is one particular chiropractor who works with a lot of professional athletes and college athletes. And for a long time, I've been his go-to for orthotics and stuff. But then we bought a machine in our practice that is called the Well Wave, which is a technology called ESWT, or extracorporeal shockwave therapy. And it's a different form of ultrasound. And he didn't have this, but knew that I did. So he started sending his players over for either orthotics or for this or for both. So then I kind of, pardon the expression, shot myself in the foot, because there was one day that I didn't have any patients. It was my day off. And he called and said, I've got 6 guys that I would like to come see you. And I said, well, why don't I just pack it up and bring it to you? And while I was working with some of these athletes, his CEO and COO walked through the clinic and said, who is she and why is she working on our patients, and why don't we have that machine? So they went out and bought it, and I don't see those players anymore except for occasional orthotics. But it was kind of fun. It was about 2.5 years that I was working with a lot of pro, mostly NFL players. And I got to tell you, everyone was nicer than the last. They were just a bunch of great guys.
And are those? I think we have old videos of that machine. If I are those videos on our site at all, or?
I don't think so, but I can take one and put it up. It's not much to watch. It's just a different form of ultrasound. How I describe it to people is that traditional ultrasound is a continuous ultrasound sound wave. And what it does is it goes into the tissue and heats up the tissue and increases blood flow. So with this one, it's a pulsed ultrasound. It's just like what they use in the operating room to break up kidney stones, but we don't have to put you under anesthesia to do it. So the best way I can describe it is, if this is good, healthy tissue and it's hit with a pulse of a sound wave, that tissue can recoil and move away from that sound wave. But if that tissue is either inflamed or scarred and it gets hit with that sound wave, it can't go anywhere and it starts to break it up. And so it's a really wonderful technology. They've been using it in Europe for a couple decades, and it finally made its way over here. And it's a really great technology. We use it for chronic problems. We use it for acute injuries. There's a lot of studying on this type of technology for bone healing and wound healing. So it's just this great technology for those of you engineering geeks or people who just want to look this stuff up. If you Google it, the technology would be, you would Google the letters ESWT, and that would take you to probably a lot of people trying to sell a unit, but you would find articles explaining what it is. So
One of the other things that we've gotten great response and engagement from has been your Spanish videos, and at times I myself have wondered if Spanish is the only foreign language that you speak, or if you speak other foreign languages.
It's the one I speak most fluently, besides English, and sometimes maybe not English so fluently. But when I started having a lot of Russian patients, I had the feeling that their interpreters were not translating what I said, and they were adding their own opinions. So I went and took, I forget if it was a semester or a year at the University of Minnesota in their extension program, and learned enough Russian that I can have a basic conversation. And I can tell now when the translators are adding their own opinions or not translating correctly. So I only had to say once to a translator, that's not what I said, please tell them what I said. And word got around in the translator Russian community, and I never had to say that again. But, and there was a time when I was very young, I was pretty close to fluent in Hebrew. not anymore. And I speak ETR Zhongwen, a little bit of Chinese.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and I have spent time over in China. So while there, I spent 6 months in Hong Kong, and I learned Sing Dum Fai Lo, which means Merry Christmas.
I think I've talked about it. My daughter is adopted. She's from China. And we went back when she was 5 years old. So language, if you haven't guessed, is kind of my thing. So I studied Mandarin, where you learned Cantonese, but I studied Mandarin for about a year before we went. And I could be understood everywhere we went, except in Shanghai. And I think in Shanghai, they pretended they didn't understand me. Um, but, it is what it is. So.
What one last question is, what has been your most memorable video that you have taken? Not so much what was in the video, but either how the video transpired or what happened afterwards.
Well, our number one video on the whole channel is one of the first ones it was the biggest ram's horn nail that that we have on video, and it was actually a friend of mine. And so three friends, we were out for dinner, and we were talking about that I started this YouTube channel, and one of them made a comment that I have this nail that I'm really embarrassed about. And I said, well, let's go over to the office. Let me take a look. Maybe we'll video it. And then the third person said, yeah, I've got an ingrown toenail too. Maybe you could take care of that. And so it was the number one video with the biggest ram's horn nail was a friend of mine. And people are always asking, well, how could she have let it get that long? And the thing is that people get embarrassed. And it's tough for people to say, I've got this really, unusual body part, and people are embarrassed. And so they'll put off going to the doctor and put it off. And fortunately, this wasn't anything that was going to turn malignant or anything like that. But I can understand that she was a young professional woman and was just really embarrassed. And it turned out to be a friend. So that's probably my best one.
That's a great story. And in that video, I know we've shown it a few times in different formats, but it has been seen by probably almost 6 to 7 million views, and we're close to almost 100 million views on the channel, and we continue to just build and build. Last month we had almost, I think it was 4 to 5 million views on our channel in 1 month of all the videos that we had. So it was incredible to see the amount of people who are coming on, both from the US and around the world. So,
and really the reason that I'm still doing this, we've been doing this 3 years now. And I've gotten some feedback from people about, thank you, this helps me take care of is your dog sick?
No, the dog knocked over something, sorry.
So people will say, by watching your videos, it helped me take care of my mom's feet. Or one person said, I've been trying to get my boyfriend who's a diabetic to go see a podiatrist, and he won't. And finally I made him watch your videos, and now he's going. And so those are really the reasons that I keep doing it. And I have a lot of fun, and I love interacting with the people on the channels. And thank you to everyone who's become a member. And so.
Well, and again, I appreciate you bringing me on today to be able to be in front of the camera as you are occasionally. One of the things, as you talked about at the beginning of this, is that we're going to do a live version for next week, for next Friday. I'm going to be announcing how you can ask questions for that live version. We're going to have a way to go to our website and for you to record your questions for Dr. Nail Nipper and myself. that you can do through your phone, and we'll be able to play them during the live version. And that will actually lead into a special program that we've been talking about of having you guys record your feet for us. So I've got a couple of things up my sleeve, and might have surprised Judy for that
Yeah,
one.
I don't even know what he's referring to.
So yes, I tend to I love to bring new ideas, and if you have not seen, not only are we on YouTube or on Facebook, we've started adding more content onto Pinterest, onto Instagram. I put the first couple of videos on Instagram TV this week, as well as Twitter. So if you would like, go follow us on all of those. We're hoping to continue to have different content, or different ways for our community to engage with us on all different platforms. So look for those, follow us, and any feedback that you'd like to give, please let us know. I think you know where you can find Judy and I. And
Judy
as
and me,
Judy and me, thank you.
the grammar police here. Yeah.
And be able to, we always love to hear the feedback, and obviously as Judy gets in and gets into the comments and responds, I too, if needed, will jump on. But Judy, do you have anything else that you wanted to finish with?
Just, I want to thank everybody who's subscribed and everybody who's watched, and it makes it fun to do this when I start to, develop friendships almost with a lot of you. So thank you for that. That cheers up my quarantine days, and I will hopefully not look purple next time we do one of these. We'll get the lighting figured out, but I just want to say, everybody right now, stay safe, stay home. We're going to have to try and get creative with our videos until patients come back in a few more weeks. But
and then we'll have that big deluge of videos, and but yes, I echo Judy's sentiment of stay home, stay safe, and yeah, I look forward to seeing and hearing from you guys.
all right, well, thank you, and we'll see you on next Friday.